A dog, a poo, and a ding-dong ditch. It's the late 90 seconds, and my sister and I are stuck at home for the summer because our parents work and our grandparents aren't always around. We're like 8 and 11 years old, just watching TV and not answering the door for anyone like our parents told us. For months, we'd been finding random dog poop in our front yard, like right in the middle of the grass. Our dogs stayed in the backyard, so it definitely wasn't them. We figured it was a stray or something because all our neighbors always picked up after their dogs when they walked by. That is until we caught the culprit red-handed. We were leaving to go somewhere one day. I don't even remember where. But when we walked out to the car, this little old lady from the corner house was walking her dog right past our yard. It was one of those Chihuahua mixed with Dachshund-looking things. And this dog was squatting right in the middle of our grass, leaving an absolute steamer. My dad made a comment like, "Hey, you should probably pick that up before we leave." She looked at him, looked at the poop, and just kept walking. Apparently, my dad's comment really ticked her off because after that, she started letting her dog go even further into our yard, like way past the sidewalk and into the actual grass. Every single day, this lady would walk her little rat dog right into our yard and just let it happen. Here's the thing, she lived in the corner house right on the edge of the HOA. My parents weren't part of the HOA because they had sense, but this lady was. My theory is, she didn't want to get fined for not picking up after her dog in her own neighborhood, so she used our yard instead. The breaking point came when I stepped in a fresh pile while running to my mom's car, and I'm not talking about a little smear on my shoe. I'm talking about a full-on squish that got all over my sneaker and then all over the back seat because I had to sit in the middle. My mom was furious. Her car smelled like dog poop for a week. My dad kept saying he was going to go talk to the lady, but my dad is all hot air when it comes to stuff like that. He never actually does anything, so my sister and I decided we had to handle this ourselves. We came up with a plan. Every day we staked out the front window, which had a perfect view of the whole yard and the street. We watched and waited for the old lady to walk by with her dog. The key was catching her on the way back to her house. That way we knew she was almost home and we'd have time to execute. After like 3 days of waiting, we finally got our chance. We saw her dog do its business in our yard. Then we watched her walk around the corner toward her house. The second she was out of sight, we went into action. Now you're probably thinking we did the classic paper bag on fire trick. Nope. First of all, we were out of paper bags. Second of all, neither of us knew how to use a lighter. My sister wouldn't figure that out until 4 years later, but that's not important. What we did was grab our mom's garden trowel from the garage. We scooped up that still steaming pile of poop and balanced it on the trowel like we were carrying a bomb. Then we walked it all the way down the street to her house. We had already written a note in crayon that said, "You left this behind." We placed that poop right on her welcome mat, set the note next to it, rang the doorbell, and ran to hide in the bushes on the corner. Now here's where you'd expect a little old lady to answer the door and step in her own dog's mess. That would have been perfect. But no, it was her husband who opened the door. This old man swings the door open, ready to yell at whoever rang the bell, takes one step out, and plants his bare foot right into that fresh pile of poop. We covered our mouths, trying not to scream, laughing, and sprinted home. We locked the front door and pretended we'd been inside watching TV the whole time. I don't know how our parents found out. Maybe the husband called them. Maybe someone saw us running. But when they asked us about it, we didn't even try to lie. We weren't sorry. We were proud. When my dad explained to the husband what had been going on with his wife and the dog, the husband said he never would have expected that kind of behavior from two little girls. Someone asked why we didn't put it in a bag. We said because that's what everyone expects. They're looking for a bag. They're looking for a bag on fire. That's what they do on TV. Nobody expects it to just be sitting there on the mat. That lady never walked her dog past our house again. She completely changed her route, and our yard stayed poop-free for the rest of the summer.